Live from Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College in Tifton, Georgia, this is Stallion TV.
Welcome to Stallion TV from Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. I'm Sydney Doss.
And I'm Lizzie Parks. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, November 5th.
The ABAC Lecture Series celebrated the college's venture into book publishing this week. Stallion TV's Chloe Evans reports.
Last Monday, Dr. Rachel Price introduced Sarah Barnwell Elliott and a few of her works focusing on the novel Jerry. The Horseman Press and Dr. Price republished the novel Jerry in spring of 2021.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rachel Price.
I stumbled upon the work of Elliott, and she was really a progressive voice in her time. So the novel that we republished, Jerry, was a best-selling novel about the labor movement and about a lot of the abuses and corruption of the Gilded Age. She wrote a lot about women's choices in marriage.
This was the final lecture in the James Usher series for this fall, but it will continue in the spring of 2022.
The book Jerry can be found at the ABAC bookstore, the Stallion shop, and on the store's website.
Being a full-time student is demanding without adding a job to the mix. But for one ABAC student, balancing both is a breeze. Stallion TV's Sydney Doss reports.
107 Bermuda Drive, a place where University of Georgia workers are collecting agricultural data for the advancement of the scientific knowledge of Georgia's ag industry. These workers also happen to be full-time ABAC students.
Ashlyn Hurst has a pretty simple way of managing her schedule.
Well, I scheduled my schedule to have most of my classes in the morning, so I kind of work in the afternoon.
Her coworker Dawson is also a full-time ABAC student, and this is the room in which they spend most of their time. For the Stallion, I'm Sydney Doss.
Ashlyn Hurst might not be having much trouble, but most colleges recommend that students work no more than 15 hours per week.
First Tuesday concerts at ABAC are live and in person again this year. For more, here's Stallion TV's Bridget Dixon.
After a year of sitting at home with no live entertainment or music of any sort, ABAC is proud to announce that their First Tuesday concerts are back in action. Students, professors, and members of the community line up outside of Howard Auditorium on the first Tuesday of every month to witness some magical music making. For the month of November, the dynamic duos came to perform for ABAC. These two talented duos from Valdosta, Georgia are made up of Mark and Jennifer McQuaid and Joshua and Jen Pfeiffer. These First Tuesday concerts that ABAC holds allow students who maybe aren't from Tift County to experience some local talent and witness a part of their culture. A night of music, family, and fun here at Howard Auditorium. For the Stallion, I'm Bridget Dixon.
The next First Tuesday concert will be held on February 2nd.
4 years of studying and hard work at ABAC get acknowledged on Thursday, December 2nd. Tifton graduating seniors will line up in Gresset Gym in just a few weeks. 2 ceremonies will be held there to award diplomas and celebrate the milestone with families. Students from the schools of nursing and arts and sciences will graduate at 10 a.m. The schools of business and agriculture and natural resources will graduate at 2 p.m. A third ceremony for Bainbridge graduates will be held there at 6 p.m.
On November 2nd, the Braves won the World Series against the Astros, and ABAC students can't hold in their excitement. For more on the story, here is Stallion TV's Brandon Trawick.
Hell yeah!
Patriotism is a big thing when it comes to Georgia, especially when it comes to ABAC students. The ABAC students have followed and watched the Braves the entire season into the World Series, and it has become very inspirational. The World Series is taking place around the finals of the semester, and people are getting motivated from them winning. With more details on how, here's ABAC's resident Zach.
Braves winning the World Series was inspirational to me because my grades at the time were slipping. And back in July, they had a 3% chance of winning the World Series or even making it to the playoffs. And they hadn't been to the World Series in over 26 years, and the last win was in '95.
The Braves winning is not the only thing that showed them inspiration. It also showed them how to communicate with their fellow students.
I think the game was inspirational because in the Game 6 and throughout all the other games, they worked together as a team so well whenever they were trying to throw everybody into the outs and whenever they were just coming up to bat and they cheered for each other as a team. And that's really inspirational because as ABAC, we need to work together as a team to be a successful college and to have a great campus overall.
Reporting for the Stallion, I'm Brandon Trewick.
The Braves won the World Series against the Houston Astros with a 7-0 score.
The weather here in Tifton has gotten quite chilly in the last few weeks. With our local weather report, here's the Stallion's Maggie Yates.
That's right, Lizzie. Today will be a cold and rainy day, and as we investigate the weekend, the same weather conditions follow throughout. As we move into the beginning of this week, Monday will be much sunnier with a high of 68 and a low of 42. Later in the week, we get back into the low 70s with a comfortable end to our week at a high of 73 and a low of 52. Back to you, Lizzie.
Thank you, Maggie, and stay warm this weekend. Don't forget that Sunday is daylight savings time.
A study abroad info session will be held at ABAC on Tuesday, November 9th. This footage was taken at a snail farm in France during a recent study abroad trip. Through the University of Georgia Study Abroad program, USG Goes Global, ABAC students will be able to go to France again. They can also go to Germany, Scotland, Ireland, England, or Portugal. The info session will be in Nursing 108 at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 9th.
In celebration of this cold weather, I think that I am looking forward to a cup of hot chocolate.
Don't forget the marshmallows.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Lizzie Parks.
And I'm Sydney Doss. We hope to see you here again next week for more news from Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.